The CDC reports that between 2013 and 2016, 49.1% of US adults went on a diet to try and lose weight. I'm sure all of us know someone who has gone on a diet to lose weight, if not us, we ourselves going on a diet to lose weight. And it's always for one reason or another, some motivation. Sometimes it's health, sometimes it's purely just, you just want to look better. But regardless of the motivation, I think one of the key driving forces behind going on a diet to lose weight is fat phobia. So today I would like to explore what fat phobia is. We're going to define it, talk about where it came from, and talk about some simple ways that we can stop it in its tracks. So let's define fat phobia first. The Boston Medical Center defines fat phobia as the implicit and explicit bias of overweight individuals that's rooted in a sense of blame and presumed moral failing. That presumed moral failing, I think, is the real key. Everyone tends to be afraid of being fat because fat is bad. We have it in our brains, in our psyche, that if you're fat, then you're bad. If you're fat, if you're lazy. If you're fat, then you're undisciplined. The definition continues to say that anti-fatness is intrinsically linked to anti-blackness, racism, classism, misogyny, and many other systems of oppression. So now that we know what it is, let's talk about where it came from. And this really ties into those systems of oppression. In the book, Fearing the Black Body, The Racial Origins of Fat Phobia by Sabrina Strings, she really unearths this link that fat phobia has to racism, and that it was one of the springing currents of the transatlantic slave trade. We, at that time, began to see that the existing European beauty standards were actually very similar to that of the captured enslaved people coming across to the North American continent, and they couldn't have that. So that is when the attitudes began to shift. Those round, full, fat, curvy bodies began to be associated with those captured and enslaved people, and thin physiques, more trim aesthetics began to be adopted as like kind of the mainstream cultural beauty standard. And it became a very quick way to visually separate people into their classes and determine who and what kind of a person they were just right off the offset. So now that we know what fat phobia is and where it came from, let's talk about what we can do to minimize its effects. There's 3 things you can do to deprogram fat phobia in your life. First, very simple, stop attaching a negative connotation to the word fat. Fat isn't bad, period. Second, stop talking about your weight loss diet. Context, of course, but the casual conversations about your diet, the casual self-deprecating remarks about your body, all those do are perpetuate the belief that fat bodies are unwanted, unacceptable, and ugly. And that's not helpful. And the third thing you could do is just remove the word fat from your list of insults and criticisms that you hurl at people, either constructively or unconstructively. So yeah, to recap, fat phobia, it's not just the fear of fatness, but it's the belief that fatness is inherently bad. It emerged as one of the branches of systemic oppression that reign over this country, and fighting it is very simple. And there are things you can do every day in your life to make the world a safer, more welcoming place for all bodies. Thank you.